It is going from bad to worse for Marvel Studios and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Captain America Brave New World actor Anthony Mackie is out and about promoting the film. And I think he's actually turning people away rather than trying to get them to actually purchase tickets to see it, because he's saying that America should not be one of the representations for, the character named Captain America. That is what he had to say. Instead, it's likely in this film we're going to get Captain Globo Homo. He's going to be saying, it's Captain Globo Homo now, ma'am. Thank you very much. It's going to be terrible. Absolutely terrible. Roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. Mackie did an appearance promoting the upcoming film Captain America Brave New World. I believe he was in Italy. A clip of his appearance was shared to Instagram by the Redhead's Diaries. Let's just take a look at what he had to say right here.
This is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. When I was a kid, all of. For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity, someone who is trustworthy and dependable. It's kind of.
So that is what Anthony Mackie had to say there. He goes on and talks about and brings up this story about a 5-year-old kid fighting with a stick against a made-up dragon to try to save a princess who's locked up in a tower. And he says he wants to get back to where the kid hasn't been told that he's using his imagination or whatever. It makes absolutely no. I think he's just completely trying to deflect because he realized that he made a massive mistake here. But anyways, let's look at what he actually had to say here. He says, for me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. What are you even talking about? That is the whole point of why the character is named Captain America, because he is a representation of America. He's someone that we hold up as an ideal, someone who should be what we kind of model ourselves after. He should be someone that we want to be like. He can be all of these things that he says he is, a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity, someone who is trustworthy and dependable. And those are all things that we should look up to as Americans to be American. And those are things that should be part of what it means to be America. And he should be representing America. He should be a representation to the rest of the world of what it means to be America and what American values are. Now, obviously, if you go to the comics, he's completely been massively used to promote the Globo Homo agenda in many cases, especially if you look at that Ta-Nehisi Coates run, is absolutely despicable, and that's how they're using it. They're using Captain America as kind of this representation of that Globo Homo agenda that they were trying to project. Fortunately, we really haven't seen that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The last real Captain America film we had was, 2016 with Captain America Civil War. And if you look at that, he's the one who's advocating for not getting involved in kind of international affairs. He's the one who's kind of level-headed, trying to keep Tony Stark down. He is actually being a good representation of America. And then obviously you can look at the Avengers films. He's the one there who has become worthy of wielding Thor's Mjolnir. He's the one who's one of the three in the epic battle against Thanos. I mean, he's the one who is going to return the jewels or the stones, the Infinity Stones, back, and it's his responsibility. Now, I hated the way they ended his story. I thought it was repugnant the way they did him wrong. Instead, they did all of this stuff, and he gives it all away for someone he already buried. I thought that was despicable because they showed that he was actually selfish, and that's not who Captain America is. He's a selfless individual. So this is utterly ridiculous. I can't stand this stuff. This is not going to be helping this movie, but this is not unheard of for Anthony Mackie, right? He's made a bunch of controversial comments while promoting this film already. You go back to April 2024. This is what he said to Entertainment Weekly. This movie is a clear reset. It really reestablishes the idea of what this universe is and what this universe is going to be. I think with these movies, you're getting a clear new branding of what Marvel is headed towards, the same way they did with Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So that doesn't sound good at all. That sounds absolutely terrible. You're naming the film Brave New World. If you understand what that is referencing, it references Aldous Huxley's Brave New World book. And what is that Brave New World? It is a world full of degeneracy. People are all just embracing their vices and living lives of so-called luxury. And what they've actually ended up doing is they've enslaved themselves to all of their vices. That is what happens in Brave New World. So globo homo, right? The globo homo agenda. That's exactly what you get in Brave New World. Even referring to the film's title, he said the title implies that there's a new, bigger enemy now. There's a new frontier that we have to conquer. Okay. From Captain America, the First Avenger to Endgame, the enemy was always good versus bad. Now that we've conquered that, where do we go from here? Like, what are you even talking about? The battle between good and bad continues. I mean, that's why it was such a shame what Peter Jackson did to the Lord of the Rings movies by removing the whole scouring of the Shire. That was so important to the story that Tolkien wrote, because sure, you might have defeated a great big villain in Sauron, but you still have evil at work. Saruman is still there. He's still at work. The battle continues. It is a constant battle. You have to continue to fight it no matter what. There will still be new battles. There will still be new evils, and you have to keep fighting that. So this idea that we've conquered good versus bad is just utterly ridiculous. And that's what he's saying that they did. He goes on and says, when the bad guys reappear, in what form are they reappearing? It is a new storyline with new characters, with new beliefs, and it creates a new idea of this new world that we're going into. So now, obviously, we know they've done a ton of reshoots, so maybe they've changed a bunch of this stuff here, but this is how he was promoting the film back in April 2024. In June 2021, you can go back to that as well. He was discussing the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus series, and this is what he told Variety. He says, the fear of representing a country who doesn't represent you, was something that's not only unfathomable, but hard to overcome. So he even knows what he's talking about there. I'm not sure how the United States of America didn't represent him, and he's saying that he wanted to represent a country that doesn't represent it. It's utterly ridiculous and just asinine. And then he goes on and says, my dad always used to say greatness is as far as you can see it. There are limitations that we place on ourselves because of our surroundings. And I did that to myself, and that's definitely what Sam Wilson goes through. So that sounds like utterly ridiculous. It sounds like it's contradictory, right? Because the greatness is obviously being limited by your own capacity. So greatness isn't as far as you can see it. Like, your greatness can achieve to even higher places. You are just putting your own limitations on yourself by limiting how far you want that greatness to go, which again goes back to the whole Aldous Huxley Brave New World, enslaving yourselves to your own vices, right? You can obviously make that connection. But anyways, he said that too. I don't think any of this is going to help this film. It's going to hurt this film even more. This film is pretty much dead on arrival as it is anyways. Early expectations were that the film was going to do between 81 million and 107 million. That was from Sean Robbins over at Box Office Theory. He settled on a firm number of 96 million. He's already lowered that, though. A week later, he lowered the range to 98 million on the top end and lowered his firm prediction to 90 million, so 6 million decline. And then we got a recent report from the Hollywood Reporter claiming the film will do just 90 million plus over the combined Valentine's Day, President's Day weekend, which the implication is that that's factoring in the entire 4-day weekend rather than the standard 3-day weekend, which is what Robbins' estimates are based on. So that 90 million, that's a 3-day estimate. Hollywood Reporter is saying that's a 4-day. So Robbins shared his 4-day was at 102. So I think this is going to continue to go down as we get closer to this film. And if Anthony Mackie continues to make absolutely idiotic, stupid comments like this, it is going to turn more and more people away from this movie. And in fact, we also have this report here too. This is from Luis Fernando. He's talking about the pre-sale, saying it was just 1.4 times better than the Marvels and on par with Eternals. So the Marvel Eternals had an opening weekend of 46.1. You multiply that by 1.4, you get around 65 million. And then Eternals did 71.2 million. And again, this isn't even factoring in inflation at all. So that's really, really bad. That's not even anywhere near 90 million. We're looking at 71 and 65 based on these pre-sale numbers if you kind of extrapolate it out. So like I said, I think these expectations are going to continue to go down. I just don't think anyone is interested in this film. Steve Rogers isn't in the film. Captain America is not in this film as far as I know. Maybe he has some cameo appearance that they'll put in for a post-credit scene or something like that. But for the most part, it looks like he's not in this film. And then you got Anthony Mackie here coming out and just like insulting moviegoers, saying that the character Captain America, his name is literally Captain America. America shouldn't be represented by Captain America. Like, what are you even talking about? But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, to always speak the truth, and never forget that everything woke turns to crap.